Welcome to the day 4 of the 5 days of streaming, and tonight we ask the question: have we seen the last home arcade Christmas? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of the 5 days of streaming. Day 4, one more day, and then we're going to wrap it up. But let's just start right off the bat by saying, acknowledging this is the day after Christmas. And we didn't stream last night. So I hope everybody had a phenomenal Christmas. I hope you not only got what you wanted, but probably more importantly, I hope you gave what you wanted. I hope you had the ability to buy that special someone the thing that they were just like really wanting. Because, you know, being a father and a grandfather, I know that when that's the biggest challenge sometimes. You got that kid, you got that grandkid, you got that spouse, you know, you got that niece, nephew, whatever, and you're trying to figure out like what is it? What can I get them that they're just gonna absolutely dig? And then when you figure that out and you're able to get it and you get to be there when they open it, it is so awesome. It's just so awesome. And then of course you got the rest of the day, right? The football, the food, everybody's there having a good time, laughing. We had absolutely just a phenomenal Christmas. The only thing that would have made it better is if my son could have been here. My oldest son stationed out in Seattle, and I had some good stuff. So I got some great stuff. So I'm wearing one of them now. This is a hoodie I got from a nephew. I got some other great stuff. My son's got me some nice some nice sweaters. Had a few things on my list for my wife to see if she couldn't find, and she found one of the ones that I've really been watching. This is a copy. This is Absolute Kingdom Come. This is the entire collection of Kingdom Come, the whole comic book storyline, and it's just in this leather book, and it's just awesome with the inlays and everything, and it just compiles all the comics, you know, the whole storyline. And if you're not familiar, I haven't even read the whole storyline. It's just one of those incredible comic book runs that's just so iconic. And the artwork and everything is just beautiful. So I can't wait to, you know, sit down and take some time and just, you know, get on the cheaters and read this cover to cover. That's going to be awesome. So that was really, really a cool one. One of my sons got me a, you got to check this out. You know, I love the action figures made by NECA. They have some great stuff. All of my Alien versus Predator figures are all NECA. You know, that's the name of the brand. I got this little Biff from Back to the Future 2. Me and my middle son would watch that all the time. It was so cool because it was so futuristic, you know, back in the day, you know, the far off distant year of 2015. So I got this guy, you know, he's got his pit bull, you know, I just love the look. So that's good. That's good. But I gotta say, of all the presents, put that guy back, of all the presents I got this year, my oldest son hit it out of the park. Him and his wife surprised the entire family with the announcement that they are having another baby. So I get to be grandpa again, and it's just so incredible. They, you know, when you're young and you're coming up, it's tough having kids and you struggle, but they're really in a great place, you know, right now, and super stable, secure, obviously in the military, you know. My son's going to be able to get a bunch of leave, maternity leave whenever, you know, they do have the baby. So I get to be grandpa for the third time. Now, what's the sex of the baby? We don't know. They're only about a couple months along. So, but we're all very, 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 my wife flipped out. When she heard, she flipped out. So it was just an absolute blessing. I hope that everybody had a great time, like I said, and enjoyed your Christmas 2025. Christmas 2025 is in the books. Yeah, I got one more year, you know, this year I'll be turning 50. So I get to, you know, tip the hat to 50 Christmases. That's crazy, but it's awesome. So no, I had a great Christmas, guys. I hope everybody had a phenomenal Christmas. Tonight we are we're going to be sipping on some drink. I got the old fashioned again by Bullet. This is a great mix. It's about $20 for the bottle. And I did try the other two mixes. They got the whiskey sour and they got the Manhattan. I'm not a big fan of Manhattans. I didn't really realize it until I drank that. I'm like, this is just not good. The whiskey sour is fine, but I'm going to definitely be sticking with either the whiskey sour or the old fashions. The Manhattan, I don't know. If you like them, then give it a shot. Anyway, everybody, cheers to the day after Christmas. I'm glad we all made it through another one. Absolutely awesome. Okay, we're talking about what's in the glass. Tell me about what's in your glass in the live chat. Also in the live chat, we have a poll question like we do every single time we go live, we stream. Want to get you as involved as much as possible. Let me come on, mouse. There you go. So I got a pretty simple question for you tonight. I thought about this as I kind of wrapped up, our Christmas and things were winding down, and I thought about it. I didn't have any home arcade products on my wish list at all this year. Actually, I just didn't have anything that was coming out that I was excited about. It made me think: have we just experienced the last Christmas that's going to have a bunch of home arcade stuff on your list? Did you have anything on your list? We're going to talk to everybody tonight and try to get an idea of where you're at as far as what that is. But the question for you in the live chat tonight, now, if you're watching live, you can vote in this. I want to know where you feel. Where do you end up? It's a simple yes or no question. Do you think we have seen the best home arcade will ever be? So talking about Christmas, is this like the last Christmas? Has this year has definitely sort of been winding down. We're ramping up for a few things in the beginning of 26, but looking back, home arcade as a whole, was that the last home arcade Christmas? Was that the best overall that home arcade has ever been? Not to say that there won't be sparks of brilliance here or there, but have we finally come to the downhill portion of the home arcade hobby? I want to know what everybody's thinking on, or everybody's feeling, and we got to say hi to the first 10 at least, probably more. Are these the best comments? Are they the top 10 comments? We're about to find out right now. Coming in the number one spot, Kevin V. Clausen taking the number one spot. Always appreciate you being here, jumping in quick, and also gifting a membership. Not too shabby. Always love the support of the channel, and that's the only way you can find out about all my nefarious actions, YouTube shenanigans. You got to be a member, and you can find out all the deviousness that goes on behind the scenes. So the membership definitely has its privileges. Coming in the number 2 spot is Novasonic 23. What's going on, brother? Hey, Fox, I hope you had a great Christmas with your family. That was a nice family photo that you posted. Did you get any cool arcade or gaming related Christmas or gifts for Christmas? I got the book. I got the action figure. I got some cool clothes. I did ask for a PS5 controller. They came out with I should have brought it with me. I forgot it. It's over in the other room. It's the Icon Blue PS5 controller. I thought that was just beautiful. I'm still rocking the 30th anniversary edition controller as my daily driver, but I wanted something different. I thought that color scheme was absolutely beautiful. I did have some games on my list. Unfortunately, they weren't able to be found. They were out of stock because I'm a physical gaming guy, so I try to get the discs wherever I can. But I still got a pretty good backlog that I gotta take care of. But thank you so much for the question and being number 2 on the list. Coming in number 3 is my beauty from UK, Retro Rosie 80s. Thank you so much for being here as always, my dear. Hope you all had a great Christmas. We started off building arcade machines ourselves and creating our own hard drives. Raspberry Pi, anyone? So it will never be the last home arcade. Let's just spoiler alert. I agree. I've also said that home arcade has existed way before Arcade 1-Up and these small arcade machines came out, and it will continue on. Not commenting on the hobby being dead itself, but as far as the influx of products, are we on the downhill slide? The diehards will never give up, never surrender. But have we seen the last real push from these home arcade companies? Interesting to find out about the discussion tonight. Coming in number 4 spot is Atheist of the North 159. What's going on, brother? Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Fox, my wife keeps nagging me about your used underwear sale, but I don't see them in the shop yet. That'll be a different I Don't even know where to go from there. We'll work on that. We'll have to set up probably a separate website, and you're gonna have to pay me with Russian rubles or something. I can't. We can't do that legally. At least not morally. Thank you so much for being here as always. Game Broker 84 is going to take the number 5 spot. We're halfway there. Day 4 has arrived. Hope everybody had a good Christmas and everyone got something good. Can't wait for the show tonight. Can't wait to get this show rocking. Thank you so much for being here as always. Angelo P, my brother, coming in the number 6 spot, always supporting the channel. I really do appreciate you. Evening Fox and chat. Did everyone see the partnership between Fox and Quartercade? They are now making a quarter-size Fox to put in here. That was private information. We have not revealed that yet, but yeah, we're gonna be working with quarter arcades to make a quarter size version of me. That's fake news, people. Fake news. Coming in the number 7 spot is C Marvel 360. What's going on, brother? Merry Christmas. Hope you had a great Christmas. What's up, Fox and chat? Looking forward to today's episode of the 5 days of Foxmas. I like the way that sounds. I love it. Our Shogun is coming in the number 8 spot. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, everyone. Ready for the party channel? That's right. We're rocking, bro. We're rocking. Zero Redux is going to take the number 9 spot. I was thinking the same thing. If no one is willing to take risk, and this is a really good point that you're hitting on, and it's something that we've talked about. It's almost like its own. It's almost like its own episode. The point that you're making, the risk factor, we talked about that a little bit throughout this week as far as getting those deep cuts and what's it going to take for them to take a chance. But going back to your comment, if no one is willing to take risk, the hobby has no future. I sense risk avoidance in all of these new players. I agree. The sense of blazing our own trail has kind of gone away from some of these companies. We're going to talk about everybody we're going to talk about at least the initial kickoff of 2026 and where I think we could see some potential players, but we're going to focus more on 2026 tomorrow night on the last day of streaming. But I want to look at this last year and kind of see sort of, now we're almost across the finish line. It was put up or shut up time. Everybody that said they was going to deliver in 2025, what did we actually end up with? But that's always going to be the issue, is the risk reward factor. If they just make Pac-Man forever, I mean, it's just going to be a drought out there. You're not going to have excitement. I mean, listen, anybody that wanted a Pac-Man has had Pac-Man in every different way, and it's just not going to go anywhere. I mean, it's not going to push forward. I mean, you're going to have people that just lose interest because of the lack of new titles coming out. And that I know that that we know that nothing's going to really excite anybody if they don't come out. And I mean like Basic Fun or whoever. They got to come out with a new title, something we haven't seen before. That simply has to happen, or this is just a boring conversation. And JJ is going to be rounding out the top 10. Thank you so much, brother, for being here. Hope Santa was good to everyone and you got what you wished for Christmas. Exactly. We got Video Game Vegas is also here. We got the Gin Rummy in the house. 76. Once again, excellent year. We got the Little Alien, Jason, not Justin. May have. Thursday was or Wednesday was rough, actually. Just happy Friday from Molar Medic. We got JJ again. We got Provolone Joe. Let's do the Foxtrot. Okay, I'm gonna have to stretch first though. Miss Martin Muses, my dear, my love, so good to see you as always. I hope you had an absolutely blessed Christmas. It was pretty awesome over here in my house. We got John Fritz is also here. MSU Rich is here. TMCNY. Fox, Forza is better. Forza is also on PS5. So I'm no longer just limited to Gran Turismo. You might be onto something, I'm telling you. Maybe Gran Turismo is not the only game in town, right? Josh Denny is also here. We got a Tran Fanatic is here. And I think that's going to be the majority of the different. But Real Zim, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, as always. And the show's coming on. Demand silence. Exactly. Demand silence. Howdy, y'all. Hope y'all had a good Christmas. Absolutely. Let's scroll down here and kind of get caught up to where everybody's. Yeah, Griff. Exactly. Not Biff, but Griff, his grandson from the future. That's right. Hey, Tramphonic, got a cool Datsun 280Z tin sign for my sister. There you go. Nice. Very nice. We got the congrats coming in. Yeah, it's great, Jay, because I didn't have to do anything. I just had to encourage them to have more kids. It was actually simple, way easier when your kids do it. Then you just sit back and just sip, bourbon and buy them stuff. It's great. It's awesome. And of course, 3 kids means that they will be done with the requirements that I have bestowed upon them. They have had enough kids to be above replacement rate. So see, if you have 2 kids, you're just replacing yourself when you die. You just had 2. You got to have 3. And you really got to have 3 to get the full vision of parenting. That way you got an oldest, a youngest, and some poor kid stuck in the middle, right? And you get the whole gamut, right? But they're going to be getting this done before they're 30. So that's pretty good. That means you can, kind of shoot. That's when we shut it down, and you can be young enough to maybe, hopefully, live through the experience. By the time you get the last one out, you're still less than 50, and you can have some time to yourself. But yeah, thank you, everybody. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty great, guys. I can't stop smiling when I think about it. Especially my wife's reaction was just so just over the top. It was great. Thanks, man. Yeah. So obviously, well wishes and prayers for the health of them. As you know, nothing's guaranteed, right? But they've had a really good pregnancy the last 2 times, so hopefully we're going to be good to go. Coming up with the $2 super chat is Kevin the Clausen. Says Fox is going to buy subs for the new child. Well, I got to get that kid started, and we just can't rely on pure talent. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the $2, and I'm going to go ahead and reward you with the trip to the pit.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Kevin's a tough guy. He's fine. He'll walk that off. No big deal. Yeah, thanks, guys. It's awesome. Mo, what's going on, brother? Good to see you as always. Starbucks 100% dark Italian roast black coffee. Delicious. Good evening, Mr. Fox, Foxworth, my man. Cheers to your brother. Thank you. Brian, I hope you had a kick-ass Christmas, and I will always be forever indebted to you for helping me with my 4KP, brother. Every time I get over there and play that damn thing, I'm like, Brian saved my ass. And I appreciate it, Chaotic. Hope you had a phenomenal Christmas. I said yes, but I'm a pessimist. So, so Brooklyn, what's going on, brother? Great to see you. Hope you had a phenomenal Christmas, man. Okay, good evening, Mr. Torque, Dr. Torque, as it were. I apologize. I would not want to miscredential you. The last was like 3 to 4 years among a gun. 3 years ago, honestly. Okay, we got the Atari Go was on my list, and thanks to BJ's Thanksgiving Day sale and mail order, I have one. I got to tell you guys, BJ's came out of nowhere with some kick-ass deals this year. So when they had we had that Mortal Kombat that dropped to $3.99 or $2.99, it was an incredible deal. That was awesome. But right off the bat, they had the Game Station Go, and they were the only ones that had that combo. So they had like a silicone case and then an actual carrying case for it. And I'm like, that's awesome. Why didn't they offer that to like everybody? But I mean, listen, I can't fault them, right? That's the way to go. Get those exclusives where you can, and that was definitely a sweet exclusive. Absolutely. I wonder if you can gift K Fox a membership. You can I get a membership to my own? I don't know. I don't think so. That would be against the law. Still waiting on the iconic Alpha 2 and at GRSFU 26. Those, so looking forward. So let's talk about, I guess we can talk about who didn't deliver this year. So number one right off the bat is going to be Iconic. Iconic Arcade was supposed to deliver. They announced in January, supposed to, get it into your hands in July. And that just fell apart. October came and went. And now we're looking at fingers crossed, maybe January 31st. So unfortunately, I know it's a highly anticipated product. And I was encouraged by the early stuff that I saw. I never saw enough to ever tell anybody that they should pre-order. Sadly, I just never saw enough. We never got enough information. We never got enough to really warrant, I think, a pre-order. Honestly, I mean, we still never got a full product unveil. Showing off all the features and official games list, because they've sort of changed back and forth, and now there's supposedly 5 free games for people that kept their pre-order. Well, which one? What are we talking about? No one knows really. It's kind of been all over the place. Running a Raspberry Pi, how's it going to be locked down? All that stuff. That's got to be the biggest, I think, disappointment for me, and probably for everybody in home arcade, is that Iconic just did not deliver. Now, the people that hate John D probably are happy about it, and that's a whole nother discussion. That's a personal thing. But I think if you're just a fan of the actual community and this home arcade hobby, it was a step for me in the right direction. Larger, bigger, trying to mimic that HS1 size and style. And John and I kind of went back and forth talking about how, maybe the width and maybe going with the 16:9 monitor, and how you could bezel that and then make it still look appropriate if you were going for the 19-inch and then the original measurements of the cabinet. And so going back and forth, about that, and he decided to go with that, save some cost, go with a readily available monitor, and all that kind of made sense. And it ended up giving you a bigger viewing area anyway, a little bit bigger than 19-inch. Problems in execution, obviously. The fact that you had light bleed coming through. But then again, we haven't seen the full version. We haven't seen the complete production version, right? Running the software, running that user interface, seeing everything in all its glory. We just haven't seen it yet. So that's the biggest problem, I think, for me. Not only has it not shipped, but we haven't even seen the finished product. And we've had this yo-yo going back and forth about the golden sample that actually never existed, because golden samples do not get revised. Nothing changes with the golden sample. It's the golden sample. It's the standard by which all the production models will be measured. And so they still have never shown us proof of a final version. We really don't know that. And there's been mumblings back and forth in the background going on as far as the level of problems. We still don't have a confirmation. Like, what was it? What was so bad with that final version or the closest thing to the golden sample that they had? What was so wrong that it had to be redesigned? I don't think it was a software thing. If we talk about software issues and software problems, that's usually, not going to affect the assembly. That's not going to affect the physical cabinet itself. That's going to be something that can be done at a later time. It can even be shipped out, and then you can have a patch. You can download a patch to the actual cabinet and fix any software bugs, glitches, or issues. I don't think it was that. I think it was a physical problem, a physical flaw. Now, this is just my, guesstimation. This is just my speculation, because we haven't had an official statement as far as details of the issues and the problems. I think that this could potentially push Iconic beyond their January 31st ship date. Now, I think it's February 17th is the official start of Chinese New Year. So they were trying to come under the gun. They're trying to get under that February 17th, but that's just the absolute dead. Like, it has to be on a boat and on its way before that date. And if it doesn't happen, I can't imagine anyone keeping that pre-order. I mean, maybe if you've just chalked it up like, well, that money's gone. It's in a pre-order. I've done that before. I've done that with New Wave Toys for the longest time. You pre-ordered something, and it's just going to get there it's going to get here when it gets here. And you chalk it up to, well, it's just, it'll be what it's going to be. But eventually, you're just like, listen, you're sitting there and somebody else is coming out with something, and you're thinking, damn, it'd be nice to get that $700 back, that I got, sitting here in this pre-order. And that's what happened with several of my New Wave Toys pre-orders. I mean, as of a few months ago, I still had the Black Hole pinball machine pre-ordered. And I'm like, man, I'm done. I'm out because we haven't heard anything. And then when we finally hear something, it's Golden Tee is in full production. Then that sucks. And I consider New Wave Toys a, part of this whole equation. And they're probably going to be number 2 as far as not delivering products this year. There's a lot of stuff that we were supposed to get by Christmas that just flat out did not happen. And to randomly see the controller The Golden Tee controller showing up in some retailers. I'm happy for Glenn because his product is out there now. He's got that trackball in there, and that's great for him. But all the people that have these pre-orders for these Golden Tees and the various different versions of Golden Tee, the maxed out version with the little digital marquee, where the hell's that? I mean, who knows? And you still got Crystal Castles out there just twisted in the wind. I don't even know if the whole, like all those accessories, for your arcade, you remember the little Ricky, is he going to be shipping? No idea. No idea. So it's weird. It's weird for sure. Okay. Question. Fox, the volume on the CPS2 Marvel Superheroes board started lowering on its own. Does that mean the supercapacitor needs to be replaced? I don't know. I don't think so. Can you adjust it back up when you hit the volume button on the side of the actual board? Does the volume increase? It could be an issue with the actual button itself. The supercapacitor. Does the supercapacitor? Is that maybe you're using the right terminology? I don't know. It's never a bad thing to replace capacitors every once in a while, but the volume control should be on the A board, not the B board. So that would be something you want to look into that. But it could be, I don't know if you've got those. Did I give you? I think I did. I upgraded the buttons on that. So it's not going to be the physical plastic buttons. Those have been changed out. Yeah, I would check into that. It could be, and of course, it could be a programming issue when you power it off and power back on. If it's going back to like a default setting, or if you're saying that as you're playing, the volume is going down. That could be something totally different. In that case, it's never a bad idea to do a capacitor, swap, to go ahead and just a full cap kit on, especially you're talking about an A board. We're going to be swapping in different games. It's never, make sure you get the one with the right capacitance, the microfarads, make sure you get the one with the proper size and do it. It's not going to hurt anything. And then go from there. I would hope that it's not a bad trace on that volume down button, which I guess is possible, if that is triggered some way. But beyond that, your guess is probably as good as mine. It's going to require a little bit of troubleshooting to see what's actually going on. Galaxy Quest, good movie. Your Astro City in the background was the inspiration for getting the 26FU. Nice. I've drooled after that thing for I got to tell you, it's and you can see it right now. Like that monitor is gorgeous. I had that one issue where I had to reflow some of the solder on that transistor. I did that a while back. But beyond that, I just freaking love the cab. I love it. There's a ton of them out there. So I wish every gamer could just get one. Get you an Astro City, go grab you a Blast City. Just if you can find them, it's worth the import tax. Well, I take that back. I don't know exactly what the import fees would be, because what I did is I found, and I went through this in my video. If you go back in my channel, when I purchased the Astro City, there's a link to an eBay seller. You can also email them directly, which is, I know that's maybe kind of frowned upon, but if you want to skirt some of those eBay fees, sometimes you can just talk to them directly, especially when you're talking about importing something, and you save a ton of money. Now, I did that before all these crazy tariffs were in place, the unnecessary tariffs. I don't care who you voted for. The tariffs absolutely suck. Did I tell you how much I paid for my Armored Warriors board? I'll just tell you. So there's a guy in Brazil that does these conversions. He does a really good job. And it's the same board that I repaired. It came in, the plastic was all cracked, and it was a green Japanese board. So I cleaned it up and repainted it, and I picked the blue color, and it looks really good. But that board was converted. I had to pay $400 for the service. Then when it came in through DHL, I had to pay an additional $200 for the damn tariff fee. Now, that's the reality of the situation. Like I said, we're not going to get political, but it is what it is. So I had to sit here now and think about, what the hell am I going to do now? I've already paid $400 to have the conversion done, because I had to reach out to the guy and ask him to do it, because it wasn't on his site. It wasn't on his eBay page. I had to make the request. Then the guy did it. Then he sent me a couple videos proving that it was working. And now it comes into the country. What am I going to do? It's not the guy's fault. He did the work. So I bit the bullet. So I paid way too much for that damn game. And I never would have done that if I would have known the import fees and the tariffs. But to pay $2,500 to have a Astro City shipped from China, and they sent me videos of it actually working, and they included a board. They included a game board, a JAMA board with it. I still have that board, still works great. It was a King of Fighters 02, 03, and it was a single MBS, a single Neo Geo board. It wasn't like a one slot or something, because they made towards the end of the Neo Geo life cycle, they would make standard boards for standard, just for singular games. Capcom versus SNK was one of those boards. So it was 23. What did I say? 2,500. I think it was 2,300. Shipping and everything. And go back and watch the video. You saw it was packaged well and all that. Now with the tariffs, I have no idea what you'd be on the hook for. So hopefully when the tariff stuff gets resolved, then I would recommend absolutely going and finding one, because they're just so badass. They're so cool. And they're a valuable piece of arcade gaming. They're a great multicade. And as we get older, boys, it sure is nice to sit down while you game. I'm just saying. I know maybe all y'all got perfectly strong backs, but it sure is nice to sit down and jam, for a while. It makes life really, really nice. Let me scroll down just a little bit here, kind of get caught up. We got, I missed somebody. There we go. Burnt Orange is in the house. RKO 1UP did take risk, and we see where they are now. Agreed. Fair point. Absolutely. But were they the right risks? And I think that the risks that you and I are probably wanting to see happen are getting kind of a deep cut game, kind of a weird game, kind of an old arcade game. I think that some of the risks that RKO 1UP took were more on the marketing side. They really went crazy with NFL Blitz, and they went overboard on that, and they overextended themselves. I think is probably like I said, I'm not privy to the numbers, but I think that was a big problem with NFL Blitz, definitely being an issue for sure. So that was a risk taken, but on a different side. The money they spent on marketing and to get all those NFL players involved, Deion Sanders and all that, is got to be just insane. But NFL Blitz was a risk to bring those 3 games to that cabinet, and to know you got to make changes. And Barry Sanders ain't gonna be on the cab, and you got to get rid of some of the late hits, and that was controversial. But they did bring the game to market, and of course the same thing. It's repeat Groundhog Day. Basic Fun took the chance on WrestleFest, knowing they were gonna have to change the ROM, change some things here and there. It's a risk. It was a risk, but coming out the gate, we knew we needed to see something different and new. I think the risks that I want to see them take, Burnt Orange, is going to be more on the software side. They can be low production runs, but they should be absolute arcade classics, and see how the public reacts. If you come out with something, Qbert, I don't know. Would that even be a risk? Maybe. Let's go with that. Let's say Qbert is the next risk to take. Is that going to be something just wild and crazy that no one was going to buy, or is it going to be something that if it's priced appropriately, will people dig it? Something like Robotron. I'm bringing up I know P-Dubs loves Qbert. I know Mike B loves Robotron, but insert your game here. I mean, what would it be, right? Let me just look at this real quick. I got to look this up, guys. Yeah. Let me click on that. So it's just going to be, are they willing to take a risk on a game that is weird, but not a technological challenge and doesn't require a ton of marketing? I mean, I think that iRobot, the Atari classic, iRobot, is such a cool game. And I played it forever ago, damn near forgot about it, but I rediscovered it on the Game Station Go, and it's the same shape as the Return of the Jedi cabinet. So what do you do there? Could you take something like that and maybe combine those two? Probably not. I don't know, but it's Atari. So could you do a reskin of that cabinet, but do it in the iRobot, color scheme and decal scheme, and would that make sense? Is there some kind of, I mean, I think Kubert in a lot of ways has brand recognition. I mean, Kubert was in that Wreck-It Ralph movie, so there's some acknowledgement it's a quirky character, so that would be a risk but not super risky. I think something beyond another fighting cab. I think, for God's sakes, please, no more Pac-Man. If you're going to do Centipede, do it right. The games should be the focus. So whatever works for the game itself, meaning vertical screens, not horizontal, don't give us wacky control schemes. Is that going to work? Or are they just going to, is it just going to be too risky and they're just going to have to try to do this one size fits all approach, which I think in the beginning, and to your point, okay, they took risks, see where they are now. In the beginning, they took risks, but it wasn't on the games. The games were super popular. It was the form factor itself. Arcade1Up took the risk of making the damn thing in the first place, and it spawned all this. And it was a connection point between people that could afford real arcades and work on real arcades, and people that were just that were afraid to even take that on, or they just physically couldn't. And it created this community. So they took that risk, and then maybe they lost focus. Maybe they lost their way. So I think we're looking at maybe some different risks. While you don't have to blaze the trail because that was done already by Arcade1Up, you can definitely take a risk on the gaming side of things. Now, what's that calculated risk look like? Your guess is probably as good as mine. It's probably as good as mine. Let me scroll down here, try to get caught up here. Okay, Fox, it sounds like it wasn't a terrific, it was not a terrific experience at all. To pay half the price of the game in tariffs, it reminds me of, I spent a lot of time in Barbados for my old job. I went to Barbados 9 times. I commissioned an ice maker, and then I was there to help build an entirely new plant. And so it was a lot of fun. And you spend time with people, and you start going, you end up going to the store a lot to pick up, hardware and this and that. But then you end up going to like the Sam's Club or a Costco. I forget whatever it was like that. It was something very similar to that. It could have even been Costco. And then you walk around and you see these igloo coolers that are $1,000 Bayesian. And it's like, my God, what is that? What is that? Well, it's because everything coming into that country is tariffed to hell and gone. Like, there's fees on everything. So they can't buy just regular things because it's so astronomically priced. And it just doesn't, to me, it stifles your population. I mean, the people that want to buy some of these things, they have to pay these insane fees. And that does nothing but enrich the government itself, and it does nothing for your citizens. So while I don't know what they're doing up there in Washington, D.C., I don't have an economics background. I don't know. Does it make sense? Some people say yes, some people say no. All I know is it hit me pretty damn hard. And if you're in the business of importing stuff because they just don't make it here, you're at a loss. At least I was. That's definitely an argument to make more stuff here, sure. But in the interim, before that, until that happens, what are we supposed to do? And because you're a collector, you shouldn't have to pay a fee for that. But whatever. The tariffs have to work themselves out. It takes time. I agree. I mean, I don't. You can't just look at a snapshot and say, well, that didn't work. I agree. Things do take time. Maybe it will, push some of these companies to bring manufacturing back to the States, because we need jobs in this country to put people to work. And if we're going to have this influx of immigration, which is fine, you got to have jobs for everybody. So there's got to be this balance, right? That's why they used to kind of, and this is, I'm not getting into, politics or anything, but you got to have, if you do something, there's got to be, you got to factor in all these things before you just do something. Much like the risk we're asking these companies to take when it comes to making a new game, you got to factor in everything. So while you and I can point the finger and say, you should just make my game, I also acknowledge that I'm not taking any risk. They're taking all the risk. So, is it a totally risk averse, hobby that we're in, a market that we're in? Is nobody going to take any risk and they're just going to make the same thing over and over again? unless it's like quarter scale, like Numbskull coming out with like Bad Dudes, and they're trying to get RoboCop, and that's going to be crazy. But is it only because they're working at such a smaller scale that they can afford to take some risks and spend a bunch of money on licensing? At the end of the day, these companies all have to make money, and I'll give them all a pass when it comes to that. They all have to make money, or else why are they doing what they're doing? So I don't fault them for that at all. That's why I like console gaming on my couch. Yes, sir. It sure is nice to sit down in it. That was a damn shame too. That was the first game. So I got one and brought it to Chicago back when we all got together for the first time. And that was a fun game. I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's not perfect. Obviously, nothing is. But to have all 3 games on there was fun. It played well. I mean, it did. It did. And Blitz is just a badass cabinet. And to have NBA Jam and Blitz side by side, man, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's a badass man cave. And I think that was a good way to go. Same thing with like Golden Tee, right? Go for these very, very mild, low barrier of entry type of arcade games where anybody can walk up to them and play. It's like a bowling game. I mean, you all know that's the game in my arcade that gets the most play. It's that Silver Strike Bowling, the original from back in the day. Everybody comes over and they grab themselves a drink, all the ones that are of age. Okay. And then they get themselves a drink and everybody's just playing. And you can have up to 8 players and they're just bowling and having a great time. So it's those types of games that it's got the mass market appeal. I get it. There's not a lot of crazy button combinations like fighters where there's, people get intimidated. They don't want to play. And if you want to have a party, those are the type of games you want. So sure. So could we see Basic Fun come out with another Blitz cabinet or a resurgence of NBA Jam or something different than that? Or how about a true Silver Strike bowling game? You go back to IT and get those games, not world-class bowling, Silver Strike bowling. Or what about that triple pedestal they have, where they have lawn darts, they have bag toss, which is called cornhole where I live, and then bowling. And they got the putt. Dude, that would be insane. So if you're looking for like a place to kind of start, why not do that? Because to buy a pedestal from IT to get the arcade collection with all those games on it, it's the putt golf, it's the lawn darts and bags, and it's the Silver Strike bowling. You're looking at $3,000, $4,000 just to get that. But if you could have a Basic Fun version, which is just like the Golden Tee cab that Arcade1Up made, and you got all those games on it, so it's not Golden Tee, it's separate. Tell me that wouldn't sell. I think that would sell like bangers. I think that is probably where I would go if I was Basic Fun, sitting here saying, okay, what do we do? What do we do? What are we looking at? What's out there? What do people, look at the low barrier of entry, the simple gameplay, right? And then you go with something that's incredibly popular. To this day, they're still making new versions of that. And people are paying thousands of dollars to get that in the arcade or in their man caves. Yep. Way too much money. Shaq Jam was stupid. I'm just going to, everybody knows I hated that. That was stupid. You got a horrible monitor, 19 inches, sure, but it was garbage, and it was just NBA Jam again. The marquee was way too big. The proportions were all wrong, and you charge way too much money for it. And it was just stupid. Golden Tee at least made sense to me. And the Golden Tee XL, once I replaced the monitor, was an incredible cab. It was incredible. I mean, the sound was good on it. Everything was great. Y'all remember that way back in the day doing that. That was my first monitor swap video, and that was a ton of fun. So yeah, absolutely. Word of mouth is bad. They should remake Guitar 100%. What are they waiting for? What are they waiting for? Dane Bramage brings up a great point. That cabinet is bonehead simple. It's slab-sided. It's not complex at all. They could even go with the 16:9 monitor if they wanted to. And then, I mean, because that was accurate for that game, right? So you get that. You go with like I don't know what size that would be, a 32, maybe a 27, and then a couple cheap guitars hanging on there. I mean, people would lose their minds. I think people would buy that all day long. Exactly. These low barrier of entry games, mass market appeal. And then you pepper in all of the deep cuts that you and I want. Give us some of these weird games, these cool Atari games from back in the day. For God's sake, somebody go kiss Sega's ass today. Basic Fun should be banging on the doors of Sega today. There's no company out there that has a deeper roster of arcade perfection than Sega. Maybe Atari, right? Okay, Atari, but Atari's out there. Atari's making stuff. Atari is licensing stuff. Namco is licensing stuff. But Sega's just sitting there. Those people with their great games, and they want some money and they want to be compensated. I think somebody needs to get off their ass and fork over the money. Let's do it. If you're going to take a risk, that's the risk you take. Go with Sega and pick your poison. Wednesday we were talking about what's the cabinet that you want? What's the type of cabinet that you want? What's your number one? Drivers ran away with it. Everybody wants a driving cabinet. Listen to me, Basic Fun. Do you want to make money? Yes, you want to make money. Great. Everybody in the chat right now, back me up. Let me know if I'm stupid. Basic Fun, listen to me. Go to Sega, pay your $150,000 fee, whatever it is, and you make a stand-up driving Daytona USA cabinet and watch the money pour in. You take what you did with Return of the Jedi, raise the cabinet up a little bit. You got to give me more height, buddy. You're killing me. Make that 4 inches higher, put a steering wheel on it instead of a yoke, and put Sega, Daytona, USA, make it happen. And watch the money roll in. You can even put Daytona USA 2 on there. But you will make so much money. Everybody will be buying 2 and 3 at a time just so they can hear Daytona when they walk into their arcade. I mean, what are you waiting for? It's like you hate money. Here we go. Beastheads knows exactly where I'm coming from. And I 100%. What are you doing? Basic Fun. Take whatever cash you have and drive to Sega's whatever. I'm assuming they live on a mountain in a castle because Sega is badass. So go to the Sega castle that's on the mountain, Mountain Doom, whatever the hell it is. Go there, slay the dragon, get to the freaking, jump across the moat, beat on the gates and say, we want to give you the monies. We want to give you all the monies. And you start out with Afterburner, you do Daytona USA. You will not be able to make enough cabinets. That is what I can promise you right now. I promise you right now. Afterburner, G-Lock, put those on the same damn cabinet. Daytona USA and Daytona USA 2. Put those on the same. There's 2 cabinets. You won't be able to make enough. China will run out of wood. You will sell so many cabinets, your brains will explode. And while you're trying to put your brains back in your head, they'll explode again. I couldn't be any more clear. The community couldn't be any more clear. We will buy all of them and then some. We'll buy one to open. We'll buy one to keep in a box. Go with Sega and end of story. It's just, and then once you get Sega, the floodgates will absolutely open. The revenue will come in and you can begin to take even more chances. And you can begin to make these weird cabinets. And you can go back to, if you bought all this Arcade 1-Up assets, you can remake Tron, but it's in a deluxe form factor. You can remake Dragon Slayer, but it's in a deluxe form factor. And just bam, 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 go, go, go. But get us those new, if you just start with Sega, Do what you must do. If you've got one shot, which I think you do, 2026 is going to kick off. You're going to have one shot to really to let us know you're serious. And if you people, I stopped myself from cussing, come out with Pac-Man, we will all turn you off. The volume will go down, and we're going to wait for somebody else to show up because y'all ain't serious. Y'all are just playing. You're playing around. You're being silly and goofy right now, and we need somebody who's going to be serious and give us the real deal. Give us what we want. Give us the Sega cabinet. Give us Afterburner with G-Lock. Give us Daytona USA and Daytona USA 2. Put it on the freaking cabinet, bro. It's time. You have to make your push now. You're never going to be, in a better position than you are right now. You bought Arcade 1-Up. Now it's time to go Thunderblade. I mean, we're telling you what. Give us 19K Fox underwear. That's what we need. Wait, no, I'd read that. Now we'll move on. I mean, that's what it is. We're not mixing words here. We're not being shady and shadowy. We're telling you exactly what we want to buy. Give it to us. Pay your fee. Pay $300,000 for the licensing fee. Bundle that into the cost of the cab. Make us full-size cabs. Go XL. But even if you go 3/4, give me 4 inches of height. Make it a slab-sided, basic-ass cabinet, but put those games on it. I'm telling you, I don't know what else to say to you. We don't know how much more. Yes, Thunderwear. That's the combination that of course, if it's Thunderwear, you're gonna have to rinse those out before you sell them, because that's bad. You maybe what did you eat before the night before? It's all bad. It's all bad. All of it is bad. I mean, what do we have to do, right? So have we seen the last Home Arcade Christmas? I think we very much could have, if these companies don't start listening. Basic Fun, Iconic Arcade, everybody, Unico, get off your dead asses and listen to us. We've been screaming into microphones for 5 years. Our patience is wearing thin. And if we're at the end, then what a sad way to round this out. What a sad, anticlimactic way to put a bow on it, right? It absolutely sucks when you know that there's more that could be done out there. So we talked about Iconic being probably the biggest disappointment, for sure. New Wave Toys being the second biggest disappointment, for sure. And I love them, but I'm going to put Unico in there as well. We announced on the show the big series. So obviously you see we've got they got the Nova Blast back there. It's out. They're taking pre-orders right now for the Raiden cabinet. I want to get my hands on one and do some reviews on that, so you can check that out. But those are candy cabs. What if you don't like the candy cab? That's where the big series was supposed to come in. Now, I know that talks are still going on. That's ongoing. They've locked down licensing in some areas, but not others. But where is the big series? Where's the big cabinet? We got to have it. Where are you at? There should have been a solid announcement, and we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen it. Does that mean that it's all falling apart? Not from what I've heard, but it's not moving fast enough. It's just not. You can't announce it and then have nothing for so long. Now, it's not to say the Unico's not doing something. Obviously, like I said, they got 2 versions of the Nova Blast, and they got all those new monitors, and that's fine, but that's not what you want. You're not really interested in new monitors. You're interested in products you can buy that are licensed, and you want those arcade recreations. And what they were promising with the big series was a near full-size recreation of cabinets from back in the day. Now, I've seen prototypes, and prototypes are great, but you and I have seen prototypes of Arcade 1-Ups that never came to market. What's the point? I mean, that's okay. That's fine. Get people excited, but what's real? What have you delivered? And that's what we're missing. We're missing the delivery portion. I mean, this Christmas came and went. I started the show talking about it. How many home arcade products were on your Christmas list this year? How many things were out there that you just simply had to have? I didn't have anything. I had nothing because nothing's out. Nothing's available. The things that came out from Basic Fun were disappointing. So what are we left with? Just wishing upon a star, wanting more and coming up short. Kind of been home arcade for the last year, at least, maybe two. Wanting more, but coming up short. $99 Burger Time. Yeah, quarter scale, sure. Wish we had 3/4 scale. I just gave away my NES Hallmark in a White Elephant gift exchange. I didn't want to buy. I didn't want to, but money was tight. It sucks, man. I know you want to kind of hang on to that. I still have my NES Classic. I actually used my NES Classic that had the Hack Chi mod that added another 20 games or whatever. Taking the total out to like 50 games or whatever it was. But I use that to show off the monitor video. During I did the Unico monitor videos, I had my NES Classic plugged in. I got to tell you, if someone could lock down that Nintendo license, if they could do that, that would be incredible. I don't know how much more plain you have to be, Vic Vicious. You're telling them exactly what you want. I have been telling them exactly what we want. Here's what you do. You just reach out. You go deep into the archives and you pick those styles of arcade cabinets that were so cool and so iconic. And that's where you start. Big blues, big reds, dynamos, whatever you want. There's all those cool styles out there, and recreate that in a form factor that we can purchase, that we can go and buy, flat packed, whatever, and then let us put our own games in it. But it would be really badass if we could get some of those cabinets with some of those licensed games included. Now, I can say that all that is still going. All the negotiation is still going on. But where's it at? Want that timeline for sure. Yes. On a UA, exactly. Well, I got to tell you guys, so the ULM 26s, I've got a couple of them. They work great. The one in my Crazy Taxi works beautiful. The color saturation is dead on. But I noticed on my Nova Blast, depending on what board I put in, sometimes I get some washout. One thing I was really impressed with their 25, they got that new 25. It's a little smaller, but it's a much higher resolution. The color saturation is much better. Even on the 30, you just don't have like this sort of white balance issue, and I haven't been able to adjust it out. It works fine for most applications, but that 25 looks really good. So what I want to do this week sometime is I want to take the 26 out of the Nova Blast and put the 25 in. And I want to take those same boards that I was having kind of this washout issue with. I want to plug it into that and see what that looks like, because that's an expensive monitor. But if it's going to fix a problem that they have, I want to at least make everybody aware of it. Now, if you're going to pay $290 for a 26, but they're going to ask you to pay $450 for a 25, it better be a incredible difference. I didn't see that in my initial testing, but what we can do is we can do that. We can do some testing. It comes with a 26 in the Nova Blast. Put some boards in, document that. What does that look like? Okay, cool. Now let's take out that and put the 25 in and see what that color saturation, that washout, does that still exist? Because what you want to do is when you buy these monitors, you don't want to have to go in there and fuss with all the settings just to try to get it to display an image properly. You want to plug it in and go. I mean, maybe do a little bit of adjustment here and there, but for the most part, you just want to plug it in because you paid all this money. You don't want to have to fuss with all the details. You mess with all these little settings, and worry if it's going to keep the settings. You just want to plug it in and have it work. because you're going to have to make a monitor mount for this damn thing if you're putting it in a classic cab and all that, there's a lot of work involved. So you don't want to have to then fuss over all this. It's crazy. I can tell you right now. So yes. 3 branded, the big series. They're working on 3 branded cabs right now. Now, when you talk about licensing and all that, you have to go not just with the company, but you got to go with the region too. So they're working on, USA, UK, Europe, I guess, Asia, all that. They're working on all these different regions, and there's all these different hoops you have to jump through for the different regions. That's why the Capcom fighting stick included, this is the same fighting stick that I bought from the UK because it came with Alien vs. Predator, an official home arcade release. They haven't been able to do that in the US because of the licensing issues and all that, right? So to get some of those games, it's in all the regions probably wouldn't happen, but they have to go through different negotiations with the different regions to try to get their products in those regions. I can say that they have been able to lock down certain licenses with certain publishers, huge big name publishers, but only in certain regions because of different factors. I want to get more into that later, talking about the next year. What can we do? I do want to talk about something. Yeah, HS5, it's a cool, that's the good thing about that is that's just a generic cabinet that everybody put games in. And I actually want them to start with that in a flat pack version that I can just buy and assemble and put in, and you can put anything into it and you're good because it doesn't violate any kind of arcade authenticity norms. If you go with a brand specific, well, obviously you're going to want to lock that down. I do want to bring up, let me look at this. Fox, I'm switching to the real games and repro format. I'm only interested if it is online. Basic Fun is currently a basic no. Damn. I hear you. I'm curious, Duke, if you can hang with me for a second, let me know right now. To go from the classic arcade to a new product, is the online feature going to be the one thing that pushes you to do that? Because that is a new feature that's worth upgrading to. Let me know. Talk to me. Goose. Let me know. But I do want to highlight a company that I think that's going to have going into the next year, and this could be kind of a teaser for tomorrow's show, is GRS. Of all the companies that have failed and not produced something and not made good on all of their promises, GRS, for the most part, now we're still waiting for that to ship, but for the most part, has and done something. Here we go. Online is critical. Okay, here we go. This is a great thing to talk about. As we move forward, as we consider investing in another arcade cabinet, another arcade recreation, is online critical? Now, the Real Zim is saying, yes, online is critical. It's a critical function. It's a critical feature that is worth upgrading for. Now, I think, answer me this. If you're talking about Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, if Basic Fun just makes the same damn cab, is it going to be the online feature that makes you, that will force your hand and make you want to go ahead and upgrade? Or if they come out with a brand new cab, but it doesn't have a brand new game, okay, whatever it is. Let's say, I'm going to get you. I'm going to make you think right now. Okay. If Basic Fun comes out with Daytona USA, it's a stand-up driver. Daytona USA 1 and 2 is in it, but there's no online functionality. Would you buy it for $500? 3/4 scale, $500. Ultra. First of all, welcome. Welcome to the community. We've been around for years, brother, and we are here to help in any way we can. If you buy an arcade one-up, any arcade one-up, what they're using is a generic ripoff of a Sanwa controller. So what you can do is you can basically take a Sanwa joystick with an adapter and swap it out. So the way that some of these cabinets use their joysticks, some of them had a single wire group that would go to the PCB, and some of them had two sets that would go to the PCB. So you would have two connections on the PCB. What you can do is, I would recommend going to, well, let me just go ahead and pull it up. Retro. Let me bring it up here real quick. Give me just a second. I'm trying to bring this up. Just 1 second. I want to make sure I take care of you. Give you the right. I'm going to post this in the live chat. Let me go ahead and kill that. Give me just a second. Because there's an arcade, there's a website that you can go to that has all the, you can buy your Sanwa controls and the appropriate adapters. Arcade. Just 1 second. It's not bringing up the right website that I want to. No, not that one. No. Wow, the internet is crazy. It's bringing up all kind of stuff. Try that. No. Damn it. Here we go. No, that's not. I'm sorry. I haven't looked up their website in a while. It's crazy. Let me kill that. Let me go over here. And let me go to this right here. Yeah, I want to give them the website. Yeah, Justin is. Yeah, they will walk you through what you need. But there's a DIY. There you go. Thank you. Retro Arcade. That's here we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and post this in the live chat right now. Hang out for just 1 second. Let me make sure I get this. Make sure that's correct. Here we go. No, that's not what. What? Oh my gosh. You got to be careful with these websites. Some of them are not correct. DIY Retro Arcade. Why does their website look different? Did they change their website maybe? Oh, yeah, they did. Ah, okay. That's wild. All right. Yeah, let me go ahead and so I got the Arcade 1UP link up. Let me go ahead and copy this. I apologize. It's taking a while, but I want to make sure we get you pointed in the right direction, my friend. Okay. For upgrading your Arcade 1, that's I put Arcade 2 up. I apologize. Okay. And let me paste that. Thank you. Boom. Okay, so the link right now is up. Let me go ahead and pin this comment so you can find it easier. Give me just a second. Okay. So it's the pinned comment in the live chat right now. Check them out. DIY Retro Arcade. They're gonna have you can buy your Sanwa controllers from them, and then you can also buy the appropriate adapters. So they will go from a Sanwa connector, which is I think it's a five wire connector. I think so. A 5-wire connector to your to plug into your stock Arcade 1UP encoder. So it's really important to get the right one. So what you want to do is go ahead and open up your Arcade 1UP controller or your control panel, take off that bottom, and then take a look at how many connectors go from your joystick to your encoder. Some of the older, like 3rd generation cabinets have 2 plugs. Most of them beyond that have just 1. So make sure you get the appropriate one. And what you'll do is you'll get a Sanwa controller and the appropriate wiring harness adapter, and you're good to go. You got everything you need, man. So welcome to the community. We're glad you're here. And smash that subscribe button, buddy. We'll keep you informed. We'll keep you up to date on everything going on. And this is a great community. Bunch of people in the chat right now will help you out with anything you need, brother. 100%. That's what you have to have. Okay, so online adds a ton of value, makes you feel connected to the rest of the community. It also builds out that community. It also, the sense of camaraderie is always there for sure. And I think it's a big thing. For me, I didn't necessarily use it on the fighting cabs because I get killed immediately. But you're right, on the beat 'em ups, it's for the co-op play, which is so fun. Like if you're playing golf with your buddies in VR and all that, it's so fun to do a co-op play and work together to take out the bad guys. And you can play with PD7, which is he's a great guy. Was he? Was he stressing out? Okay, so even if Unico just builds an empty shell like G.I. Joe, I get Vic Vicious. Trust me, I am pushing. I am doing everything I can. I can pull every string. I'm doing all I can to push them to just, even if they can't get it licensed, make the cabinet. Because so many people just want to make, they want to have, that's what Arcade1Up did for a lot of us. It made this, it gave us this shell that we could build upon. And it was so valuable, so important. So I agree, 100%. If it's Flak Pack, maybe. Yeah. DIY Retro Arcade has 5. Yes, exactly. The 5 and 4 pin harness. They have the harness you're going to need to connect to any stock Arcade1Up encoder. That's the main thing. I'm just having a brain fart. I'm glad y'all helped me out. My brother Fatal J, congratulations. How the hell have you been, brother? Hope you had a phenomenal Christmas. My Texas brother. Good to see you as always. See, I told you the Saturcade was it, buddy. Going back to Saturcade tomorrow. Thanks for the recommendation, brother. Me and Fatal J, we've been friends. God, man, 8 years, 7 years, 8 years. It's been a long time. So glad to see you, my friend. And I'm glad you're enjoying the arcade. Saturcade is a great place to be. Thank you so much for your super chat. You know what I got to give you? I'm going to give you some little DBC love, brother. Here you go.
Can't you do any better?
Okay, Jay, this is a good question. How do you define a beat 'em up versus fighting game? I tend to think of them as the same thing. So here's the difference between the fighting games and the beat 'em ups. So beat 'em ups are basically a side-scrolling beat 'em up is something like so if you had your Sega Genesis, you had your Streets of Rage, that's a beat 'em up. If you think about Ninja Turtles, TMNT, that's a side-scrolling beat 'em up where you and your friends work together. It's a co-op, go through levels together. It's either one player or 4 player, whatever. And you go through a level together to take out a bunch of minions and then a boss at the end of every single level. It's a progression type of game. I mean, there's a million different versions of this out there. Konami made a ton of them. You get the Sunset Riders, and of course you got X-Men, huge. Simpsons, that is a beat 'em up in my mind. A fighting game, a fighting cabinet, a fighting whatever, is 2 players fighting against each other. They're usually 6-button, sometimes 5. And in the case of Mortal Kombat 1, it was 5. Then they added the block button later for 2 and 3. But they're 2 opponents fighting each other, and there's complex fighting moves. So obviously a fighting game would be considered, your Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct, these types of games, Primal Rage, these types of fighting games. That's a fighting game. And then a beat 'em up is usually considered a co-op game where you're going through levels, fighting bosses at the end of each level. X-Men, Ninja Turtles, Metamorphic Force, that kind of stuff. That's uncalled for. I'll destroy you. But I need you know what I need to get? I need to go ahead and get a quest. I need to get a meta quest, and that way I can destroy all you fools and whatnot. I'll probably get killed. I'll probably get killed. Yeah. So yeah, Primal Rage has to. I don't understand. Like, it's just so iconic. It's so like with the claymation figures. It's everything that's sort of made like Mortal Kombat cool, but there were dinosaurs. And then the second game that is over in Galloping Ghost, you can play right now. That cabinet where you morph into giant humans and you're back to it's so cool. It's very iconic. Pit Fighter is also very, very much a product of its time, where it's motion capture and it's Mortal Kombat all over again. But it's very, like I said, it's almost like a time capsule of a type of game. Not the greatest game, but still a time capsule of a game. It's kind of like Narc, that motion capture technology being utilized in these different kind of form factors. Yeah, bring it. Well, I would love for you to kick my ass. That'd be awesome. Have you sold your Mid Jam yet? Let me scroll down here. Thank you. It's right. In my opinion, that's the big difference. You have player versus player, and you have co-op. That's basically the big differentiating factors. And it's also huge because of the gameplay that you enjoy. Like fighting games, if you're in the arcade, there's always some badass who's there just killing everybody. And you'll go up there and you can test your might, you can test your skill. But if you get taken out quick, well, what are you going to do for the rest of the day? Go find a beat 'em up. And then you can work with somebody and have a ton of fun. You can go through all the levels and take out all the wild, crazy villains. And it's a ton of fun. Absolutely a ton of fun. Richard Ralph was the first person I remember talking about Tulsa Arcade back in the day. It was a very young, sort of early type of community that was being built. Once you had these cabinets coming out that were lackluster, looking at the first generation cabs from Arcade 1-Up, they didn't quite have all the features we wanted. You have great companies like Tulsa Arcade, located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I talk to JC frequently. Providing all those, it's like a stopgap, like all those things that weren't quite what you wanted, you could go to that third party out there and they would fill that void for you. They would give you that lit marquee. They'd give you that riser before risers were things, risers with artwork. Tulsa Arcade was making risers with like lit portions inside, like on the front. And it was so cool. All these different type of, like a lower marquee in a way. And it was awesome. Those days can continue. Those days can still happen. We just got to have companies willing to take some risks on some of these games. That's it. Gramps, isn't it awesome? I mean, isn't it so cool? And the fact that you can just throw some ROMs on there without really worrying about formatting and all that is just it's a whole new level. And that little handheld, My Arcade did something special. And I think here's the key. They focused on the gameplay, the unique gameplay fundamentals of some of those games, including a trackball, including a spinner in a handheld. It's never really been done before. We've had Anbernic devices that kind of sort of, just did the minimum, but didn't quite bring it all the way home. So at the end of the day, have we seen the last home arcade Christmas? I hope not. But if these companies don't quite step up, there's a very good possibility we have. Well, would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Unfortunately, it is that time. We got to go ahead and wrap it up. We are not going to have an after show tonight, members, but tomorrow night, Saturday night, the final night of the 5 days of streaming, we're going to have an after show, and it's going to be a banger, as all the after shows are. If you want to be a part of the after show, all you got to do is sign up and become a member. It's only $5 a month, guys, and you get access to all the after shows, some exclusive content. We get to be a little more raw in the after shows. We get to we just cut right to the chase. We pull no punches, and we even say some bad words. But before we go, we got to talk about the poll question, guys. Let me jump over here real quick. It was a simple question tonight, 101 votes. I want to thank everybody for taking a little bit of time out of your evening and stopping by the channel. I appreciate it. The question was, do you think we have seen the best home arcade will ever be? This was a close one. This was maybe the closest we've ever had on the channel. And the pessimists have won with 51%. I'm sorry, the optimists have won. With 51%, you're saying, no, we're not quite there. Now, 49% of you said, yes, we've seen the best. It's all over. But there's a slight margin. There is a glimmer of hope that says, no. Oh, hell no. We're not done yet. Are you in that camp? Are you in the camp of there's more to come? Well, tomorrow, we're going to talk about 2026. We're going to talk about who's poised to make the biggest impact, the biggest splash in home arcades. And I hope that you'll join me tomorrow night. Everybody, thank you so much for stopping by. Check out the channel J4. Day 5 is going to be tomorrow. And I hope to see you right back here next time. Peace.